Welcome to Movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. Judge Dredd is the name of the movie. Please like and subscribe to get every update. The film begins with Fergie. A man again mega city follows a 6-month sentence in the Aspen colony and takes a shuttle to Heavenly Havens, a town filled with flying cars for transportation. The shuttle arrives on the street where his apartment is located, but the riot is not what he expected looking back at the gang riots, shootings, murders and other heinous crimes when he to his old apartment, but to his surprise, the gangsters are the new residents. Back at his apartment, the gang members shoot rival gang members on the other side of the building. Houses, causing further chaos in the streets as the riots continued. Explosions and fires spread across the streets, causing authorities to be on alert. Judge Hershey and Ricky Briscoe arrive on the scene to arrest the gang and prevent any further damage to the streets. Hershey realized that the number of enemies was huge and would be difficult to deal with, so he decided to call in more judges to assist them. Judge Dredd appears just in time while patrolling near Heavenly Haven when he receives a radio transmission from Judge Hershey calling for assistance to stop the gangs causing trouble in the area. Dredd uses the amplifier voice on his headset to call the gang members, but they responded with gunshots and missed Dredd. The two judges and the rookie band together come up with a plan to stop the gangs, and if they insist on shooting, then the judges will shoot them without hesitation. Dredd leads the group as they climb into the apartment while one of the group captures Fergie and makes her reload and hide using an android food delivery person while he hacks, hides inside and controls it to avoid being hit by bullets. Dredd blows a hole in the ceiling, shooting at the gang members who are shooting at their enemies. Hershey and Briscoe arrive after taking care of the enemies in this room. Newbie Briscoe acts alone trying to impress Dredd and Hershey and opens the door to another room leading to many others. The gang members, and without hesitation, shoot him in the gut, and Hershey shoots the remaining gang members with their various bullets. The enemy grabs Briscoe's fallen gun and dies as the gun needs the judge's DNA. Dredd shoots the last member of the gang when he tries to shoot Dredd while observing Hershey as Hershey takes Briscoe's body. Dredd tries to comfort her, but fails as he shows no emotion, but he realizes sees android delivering food and tells him to stop. Command him to stop. 5 o'clock ends and the countdown to 1 begins. Fergie opens the latch and thanks them for stopping the gang war in the apartment, but Dredd instead arrests him for illegally hacking an android and claims he should have jumped off the building, which is appropriate, but can hurt him. Fergie told them he was innocent, but fear didn't listen until the authorities took him away that night. The Board of Judges holds a meeting about the increasing crime rate in the main city while brainstorming ways to alleviate the city's problems. Judge Griffin recommends using more force to control crime, but Judge Fargo explains that there must be a more peaceful way to reduce the crime rate than showing fear to the public. After their meeting, Judge Fargo asks Dredd about the recent execution of gang members, but Dredd replies that it was inevitable. Mr. Fargo orders him to teach ethics to the young cadets and learns that Dredd is very popular among the young cadets. His advice will improve their morals as they progress. As judge the next day at Aspen Penal Colony, Warden Miller visits high-security condemned Rico's cell with guns and voice-activated cameras. He gave him a small item from an anonymous courier, which contained a copy of his Rico badge and a photograph. By journalist Hammond, Rico of Vardy's suddenly opens a secret compartment in the box, and it becomes a small gun that shoots into Miller's throat to strip him of his voice. Miller fails to activate the weapon and camera in Rico's cell, killing him because security cannot recognize him. The guards get past security to enter and see Director Miller dead, and Rico punches the guard and shoots the remaining guards to escape to the academy. Fear teaches his students the importance of values that will help them decide when to take up arms when they become judges. Hershey told him to show more affection towards the students and asked if he was a friend with this attitude. He replied that he had a friend at the academy, but he arrested him for committed the crime later that day. Rico hides in a body bag and waits for the perfect moment to escape from prison. He fires one of the garbage disposals towards Mega City to hide in plain sight. Rico goes to a pawn shop in the big city to pick up a package containing the judge's pistol. The owner warned him not to touch him because it would kill him if he wasn't a judge, but Rico was able to activate the gun and shoot the owner. Rico later finds a giant battle droid in the store and reactivates it, assigning it the task of becoming his walking weapon at his disposal that same night. A guard disguised as a scary man murdered Varys Hammond's family and prepared for real fear. The next day, soldiers arrest Dredd for the murder of Vardis Hammond's family with video evidence in hand. Her witness and attorney was Hershey as she majored in law. She implies that Dredd cannot commit this crime and the video cannot prove that the judge in the video is him, but she cannot hide the gun and bullets with his DNA proving him guilty and sentencing him to death. Picture of him. Judge Griffin suggested that Judge Fargo should resign to save the fear and secrecy of Project Janus. Judge Fargo agreed to resign, but before doing so, he asked the Judicial Council to commute Dredd's death sentence and send him to Aspen Penal Colony for life. The council agrees and Fargo leaves Mega City to honor Griffin as the new Chief Justice. The next day, a shuttle transports Dredd to Aspen and sitting next to him is Fergie Dredd and Fergie arguing about which Dredd was captured. By mistake, Fergie Dredd declares that the law makes no mistakes. Fergie asks Dredd to explain why the judge became one of the condemned after a time when the Angel family attacked the space shuttle with spear missiles during chaos. Both shuttle pilots are hit. The Angel family grasps the fear and Fergie is the only survivor of the crash. They take Dredd and Fergie to their lair for interrogate and cook them while it appears that the Angel family is cannibals. Fergie pleads that he believes in angel worship, but Dredd warns Fergie that they are cannibals and will eat him in their ritual. Dredd escapes and tries to defeat them alone, but the search party sent by Sheriff Griffin to recapture Dredd Judge Fargo shoots them from behind, surprising Dredd with his presence, and this causes among the members of Angel's family, the judge of Mean Machine. Mean Machine stabbed the judge. Fargo turned his back while talking to Dredd in rage. Dredd attacked Mean Machine 3 times while finishing him off with an electric shock to the back of the neck. After the battle, Dredd feared losing his father figure. Fargo then revealed the truth that a project called Janus was the one who created 2 genetically perfect children to act as judges. Unfortunately, one wandered too far and became evil. Then there he reveals that it is Fear and Rico, 2 friends from the past. These 2 children, meanwhile, at Hershey's apartment, she investigates Dredd's case, but quickly realizes she is outside the security system due to finding confidential information. She contacts another worker to decode previously collected photos of Dredd. They discover that Dredd has no family due to his family photo being tampered with at the Super City leader Griffin's house. And Rico creates chaos in the city by assassinating several judges to revive the Janus Project to create more clones of perfect judges. Sheriff Griffin convinces the other executives to let Project Janus continue as they gradually lose judges across the megalopolis. After receiving approval from the city, he sends Rico and his killer robot to execute the other leaders as Chief Griffin no longer needs them outside the city walls. Dredd and Fergie explore the area so they can enter the city. They are afraid of people who might enter the city. A heat vent, but only in theory. Before entering the vent, Fergie asks Dredd to apologize for wrongfully sending him to prison. Their conversation helps Dredd realize some things about being so obsessed with rules in the past and tells Fergie that he's never apologized in his life on heat. Fear stooped and ran straight forward as Fergie stood up, but Fear helped him and shot across the ground to fall into the incinerator chamber. They successfully enter the Hall of Justice, where Fergie attracts the attention of nearby judges because of Dredd's uniform and gun after discovering to avoid as many judges as possible for fear of the council members being murdered. Murder and Griffin, Mr. Rico notices but fails to stop him as he escapes behind Griffin shot himself in the arm because he feared the council would assault and kill him when the guards entered. To stop the Dredd, he flees in a prototype version of their previous car, flying away with Fergie after escaping from the authorities. They went to Hershey's house to sleep there. Hershey threatens the invader and Fergie. She explains that on the way back, her motorbike exploded, which could explain the recent assassinations of other judges, except for those carried out by Rico's killer robot. Dredd explains to Hershey that he has a brother named Rico and that he is responsible for all the chaos that is now happening in Mega City. After a while, Rico convinces Hayden to lead Project Janus scientist on his side, thus killing Chief Griffin with his killer robot after trying to interfere with his plan to take over Project Janus. He then gave the cloning machine a sample of his DNA to clone. The army of judges to handle him then scares Fergie and Hershey to the Statue of Liberty to stop Rico's nefarious plans. Scared tells Fergie to stay because it's dangerous there, but he replies, "I'm giving you a chance, so let me stay with you." Hershey agrees and says, "I'm scared to let Fergie go with them," and after checking area, the killer robot appears in a narrow tunnel to block their path and prevent them from going any further. The killer robot grabs Hershey and shoots Fergie in the process. Getting scared then shoots Hershey's remaining arm robot to save them all, and suddenly the metal door opens revealing Rico and Hayden listening to their suffering. Rico points his gun at Dredd, threatening to order the robot to kill Hershey if he doesn't drop the gun and follow him inside. On the other side of the door, Rico explains that they can become the new leaders of the megalopolis if you can first give up the idea of obeying the law. He then suggests that being the head of the council that controls the clones is scary yet fun and scary. Refuses the offer because he always wants to bring justice and make things right. Rico orders the system to show that it is concerned about the process of creating clones in the facility and that in these containers the clones are in the process of ending, and Rico begins to argue about betrayal of their species. The Rico clones asked him why had he previously arrested him for causing fear of such actions, then hinted that Rico had broken the law and killing innocent lives. The reason Rico was arrested was the only way to stop him from committing more crimes. Rico monologues about how fear will follow him because they are family and family should always support each other no matter the situation, but fear asserts that death is the only option for them. Not the fact that you participated in leading a clone army without free will after listening to Dredd. Decision. Rico orders the system to open the metal door and shows how his killer robot can kill Hershey, but the killer robot suddenly drops it and accidentally hits Rico in the face, leaving him unconscious for a while. As it turns out, Fergie disabled the robot's cables from behind despite being injured, giving the creepy guy enough time to get his gun and shoot. Rico woke up and ran towards the exit, and attempted to escape again, and he was forced to order the system to release the first wave of clones to slow down the Dredd after an intense chase by Dredd and Rico. They fight after knocking over their weapons while Hayden is fighting Hershey, keeping them busy. As the clones slowly emerge from their containers, the film ends with the facility breaking into pieces and Rico running up the stairs just to ease his fear. Fortunately, fear overcame him. Fear pulls Rico out of his getaway vehicle after the scare and Rico throws punches. Rico eventually trapped the horror where it hung above the city. Rico tells Dredd that his sentence is death for betraying his flesh and brothers before, and now Dredd creates a distraction by activating the weapon used by Rico, due to which causes him to shoot flares from his weapon. He then pulls Rico onto the train and falls to his death. Hershey finds Dredd and helps him get to safety after picking him up. She tells him that Dredd still owes him 3 times for his help as they leave the building, all citizens and everyone else. The judges applaud and consider Dredd a hero. A judge asks Dredd if he wants to take the position of chief judge, but he declines and says he will remain a regular judge and continue patrolling Mega City. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.